Hey YouTube, long time no see. We're Missourians now, live in Peculiar, Missouri. We just bought this awesome house you see behind us, and today we're going to be doing some more work to the FJ-09. This is the rear tire of Audrey's FJ-09 at 7,600 miles, and it is due to be changed right here in the center. If you can see, the tread is even with the wear bars. Certainly there's plenty of tread on the outside. However, most of these miles were ridden in Iowa, long flat roads, and you stay in the center of the tread and you don't get to use the outside of your tread as much as you might like to. So anyway, today the bike's getting a new set of Michelin Pilot Road 4 tires, and this particular video is specifically going to be for removal of the rear wheel. And if you keep watching the other videos in this playlist, you'll see front wheel removal, and you'll also see both tire changes. Okay guys, in order to remove the rear wheel, we're going to start with a 4mm hex key to remove the ABS wheel speed sensor. This is in there with almost zero force, so do not over torque this bolt when you reinstall it. Let's see. Also keep a magnet away from your ABS sensor and ring, that will ruin it. Okay, ABS sensor away. Next thing we need to do is remove the brake caliper, which is done with two bolts. There's this one and this one. The rear bolt is a 6mm hex. The front one is held on by a 14mm socket. We're going to remove the 14mm bolt holding the front caliper on. Okay, now the caliper swings free, and I've got an old bungee cord that I'm going to use to support the weight of the caliper, which is not much, and some people would say I wouldn't even need to support it, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. The service manual calls for us to loosen the rear wheel alignment adjustment just a smidge, so that's a 12mm. I just loosened up this. Take the pressure off it, really. That's all I did. You know, it's not tensioned on there now, and that's on both sides. Next, we get our 27mm socket, and we loosen the axle nut. This may take quite a bit of leverage. It's definitely going to tilt the bike back on the center stand. Now, you slowly to see what comes out. Got the axle nut, followed by this washer, and then we will be able to push out the axle. And while I do this, I'm going to support the weight of the wheel with my feet, pull out the axle, and there is actually not as terrible as I was expecting as far as grease on the axle goes. There is a very thin layer. I mean, I'm going to certainly make it better, and it's going to be probably hard for the camera to pick it up, but there is a thin layer of grease back there. I'm kind of honestly a little bit impressed. And this is our alignment piece and the caliper bracket, and we're gonna have to remove the chain here. Chain comes off, and the bracket that holds the caliper slides out, and then the whole wheel rolls back. I'm using a grunge brush and wettened with a little bit of kerosene to clean up this sprocket. I could probably use something else here. Don't need to use kerosene. It's not like the sprocket has O-rings, but I'm just going to go with the kerosene. Might need something a little bit more abrasive to really get that out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take off the sprocket, and you want to do this with a 14mm socket. It's tighter on there, tighter than I kind of was expecting. You want to loosen them in a crisscross pattern. I've also got, even though the brake disc doesn't touch the ground, I've got it sitting on top of an old motorcycle tire takeoff. Okay, I think they're all loose. Yeah. Okay, sprocket's coming off. And there's two pieces here just so you see that. .45 tooth sprocket. Get up underneath this, just give a gentle pry up. To get that out. And then each of these rubber dampers will just slide out of here. And if any of these are damaged, you'd want to replace them. And that's how you remove the rear wheel from an FJ-09 in preparation for a tire change. Up next, front wheel removal. Putting the sprocket back on, you got to do this in a crisscross pattern. And right now I'm just going crisscross to take them to lightly snug. Okay, Now we put on 58 foot-pounds of torque in a crisscross pattern. Might have to do some more tightening evenly.